Hello, everyone. Quick audio test. Say hi, Osashis.
Yeah, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello. Yep, got it.
Hello and welcome to another Division Pro race. Here at the Icebreaker, we are racing the Origin 300 series ships around the research outpost, and it is going to be spectacular. I'm joined by Osashis. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing very well. 07, everyone. Super excited to see this this track get raced by the pro racers, right? These guys are the best of the best. And we get to see a whole bunch of 350Rs. I know this is 300 series, right? But I expect to see a full roster of 350Rs, and they are so much fun to watch rip around this course.
Yeah, we've obviously been running the amateur series, the pro-ams, and it's been wonderful. We've got an amazing lineup. We're going to talk about that in a second. We've got the races currently lining up. Race direction is on site with the racers. Yeah, just want to say 07, everybody. Seeing lots of 07s in chat. We've got a whole bunch of people joining us for this one. I think this one really sees everything coming together. The first division series we did, we still had people getting used to the format, and the lineup today is spectacular.
Yeah, on top of that as well, too, Star Citizen has stabilized a little bit, we'll say, since the Yadar series, which we had to run into a few issues. I'll knock on wood while I say that, of course, but we're always, just like with anything Star Citizen, we're working with what we have. But yeah, we're working with a little bit more of a normal setup for this division series week after week, and that's why we will see a full suite of 10 racers on the line here today for all these main events.
Awesome. Just want to give a quick audio check for everybody. Can you hear us okay? Is the sound volume okay? And if so, give us a nice 07. And thank you so much for joining us. Sounds good. Yes, we can hear you. Perfect. That's great. Seems like we've got good low latency. So that's awesome. Let's talk about the track then. Let's go and take a look at the track. We've got a wonderful track guide viewed for you, and why don't you talk us through the track a little bit and tell us about your favorite parts of it.
Yeah, so this track, it's interesting. It's definitely a departure from some of the other ones. We got a little more wide open, but it's more about that verticality, staying underneath the track limits of this course, which are delineated by the antennas that are on the side. One of the biggest challenges on this track, of course, and as all the racers will mention, is visibility. There's nasty, nasty storms on Euterpe, whiteout conditions, especially during the day. So we're seeing right now it's still nightfall, and there may be a chance we end up racing this first main event in the night. Normally that might be a bad thing, but these racers will probably actually appreciate that, since there's actually better visibility on this track specifically at night compared to daytime.
Yeah, dude, it is so true. Euterpe is insane. It's the most extreme planet I can think of in terms of its storms, and it's typically what makes it such a wonderful moon to visit. In all honesty, I love it. You get out of your ship and you will likely be thrown to the ground. You can't move forward. You have to crouch to get anywhere. It's spectacular, but it is blinding, especially coming up the climb. That part is essentially blind when there's a storm and just a low sun. It's a recipe for disaster.
Absolutely. If you've seen on scr.gg, which everyone, we recommend going, seeing all these time trials and being able to see the track guides. The track guide we specifically did for this, of course, we have to get somebody in there. In this case, it was me filming this, and we actually had to do multiple takes, right? Just because of the whiteout conditions, the blinding sun, making mistakes, crashing into things. So yeah, it's a difficult track to race, more based on the conditions of the weather and the sunlight than the actual track itself in some cases.
Yeah, so true. So we've got 8 laps across, I should say we've got 3 races in store, and each race is 8 laps. And we can talk about the format in a moment. Average lap time with the 350R is sitting about 1 minute and 13 seconds, almost 14 seconds. And SCR, of course, is the website to go to find out all about the racetracks, to find out how fast people are running the leaderboards, to watch their runs, and you can see the top 8 on your screen right now, and that is 350s only, because the world record is set by Shacknew with the P72. No surprise that it's one Shacknew, and no surprise that it's 2 the P72, because it is the ship to end all other ships, at least right now, with a time of 1 minute 4 seconds and 620 milliseconds. The 350R isn't much slower, at just about 6 seconds slower, at 1 minute and 10 seconds. Billboy holds the record over Shacknew, which is exciting considering our lineup, and we'll talk about that as well in a second. What do you think?
Yeah, those that know the 350R will know that it's not a slow ship. It's not that maneuverable, right? It takes a lot more to turn. It's a lot larger of a ship, but in a straight line, it's pretty fast. So it's not necessarily surprising to see on a track like this with a lot of wide open sections for the 350R to be fairly close to the P72, which is kind of the meta ship right now. But you can see all these guys here have been putting in times on the 350R, so it's obvious that there's no lack of practice from our racers today. So I'm expecting big things from all of them.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. Let's take a look at our feeder series then. For those that are unfamiliar with the division series, we have Am Racing followed by Pro Am Racing, and then today Pro Racing, and basically one feeds into the next. So first we've had our amateur division amateur races, and we saw 5 heats, and each heat saw a winner. We had Billboy, Playing Fox, Kaylee Star, Second Saber, and Scuttled each win one of the heats, and that qualified them to a front lockout for the amateur main race. We saw a total of 12 finishers, so 12 racers potentially achieving their AM license if they hadn't yet, and that allowed them to race the Pro-Ams. Now that was last weekend, and during the Pro-Ams we have 10 heats, and winning one of those heats will qualify you for your Pro license and line you up in that order on the Pro Race grid for today. So today we essentially have the best of the best racing together across 3 races, and what a lineup. You want to walk us through it?
Yeah, it's interesting to see. Those of you guys will remember from Yadar, we actually had Splen taking away a convincing victory, winning all of the mains there. So seeing him down in that 7th place, it took him 7 heats to actually win one, is pretty surprising. Personally, I'm not so surprised seeing Boltok. They're coming in with the first heat win. The guy's very, very talented, and we've seen him definitely putting in the practice too. So not surprised at all. Also, Shacknew, one of the top front runners, not taking a win until that 4th heat. And then, of course, we've got some newcomers. Billboy specifically, that just got his AM license this series, and then making it all the way into the Pro race day, which is super awesome to see. And also Lagos Niera as well, same thing, achieving that Pro license, that AM license and Pro license at the same time, which is super cool.
It was really surprising to me that we had, and I'm gonna throw him under the bus here, we had Shacknew, our race instructor, who preaches, turn 1 safety and not, riding defensive lines and going wide when you need to. And then we see him and Splen getting together, merging on heat 1, on heat 2, and then only at heat 3 they were able to separate. It was just so surprising to me to see them get together, and I think this cocktail is going to be really fun. We're in for a spectacle with this first heat, especially, or with this first main race, with Shacknew then in 4th and Splen in 7th. And I mean, I don't know who to put my money on. I've got real high hopes for Boltok, but then Billboy as well. We see him holding the world record with the 350R on this track. So he's starting in 10th. Is he going to be able to come back in main 1? Is he going to play it safe? Is he going to try to get a little closer in main 1 and, maybe finish in 5th? And then for main 2, he'll start in 5th position and make his way to 1st? Is he going to slowly climb his way through the ranks? What do you think?
Yeah, and really quickly, before I address that, my apologies. I totally forgot about Durnk, which is doing the same. And the racers have been fondly calling this the flip, since Flipatif was the first to achieve this during the Yadar series. of achieving AM license and pro license and getting into the pro at the same time. So yeah, big props to Dirk, who actually took home that second pro-am heat win. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how some of these guys go. There was a lot of talk during the pro-ams and even the AM heats about how a lot of the strategy was if you had a back marker position on the starting grid to just get a good finish so you could get a better starting position in the following heat race. It's a little bit different today where we have 8 laps. You've got a lot longer to work your way through the field. You've got a lot more time to, exhibit your racecraft, make passes, and hopefully keep it consistent and work your way toward the front. So it's going to be less about how you do in one main to try to propel you to the second, and a little more about just putting it all on the line and getting consistent results throughout.
So we see 10 racers on the list there, and that is your grid positions. So Bulldog then starting in first, right, and Billboy starting in last. It's going to be very exciting. Yeah. We've got some really cool prizes that we're giving away today as well. We have the winners, the winner walking or flying away with a Pisces C8X, proudly provided by CIG. And very excitedly as well, Spectre, our other partner, Spectre Labs, providing the winner with a keyboard mouse desktop pad. We saw Splen winning the previous one, and he has just ordered his, or just received his with a custom print, and it looks absolutely fantastic. In our XGP podcast, we showed some pictures as well, so recommend checking that out if you haven't yet. It's on YouTube and Twitch. But yeah, these prizes are awesome. And then for the audience later today as well, between mains 2 and 3, we're giving away a Vulture. So stay tuned for that as well. Make sure you're active in chat. That's very important.
Yep, definitely. Lots of exciting stuff to walk away from today, whether you're the racers or the fans. Yeah, like you said, keep active in chat. We'll be pulling somebody randomly from chat between main 2 and 3 to walk away with that Vulture with LTI.
So Marble, real quick, if you can just pull up the B-roll, we'll show people we've got the sun rising here, and we have people asking, when are we starting the races? Very soon. We've got race direction lining up their grid right now. So as soon as our races are ready, as soon as we've given you everything you need to know, we're gonna get the first main race underway of 8 laps, followed by another one of 8 laps, and followed by a third one of 8 laps. And each time that the racers finish, those finishing positions are used for the next race. So very excited. So let's again look at our lineup. Let's pull up the roster, Marble, and have a look at how busy people are getting on SCR. This is an overview of people submitting their times on SCR, and you can see that Shaqnu has been busy. He has had a look at this overview. I'm gonna call him out. Before we did the race today, before we started, he noticed he wasn't at the top of the leaderboard. So he has gone and submitted as much as he could. He is now tied with Splen. They both hold 9 gold first places, 8 silver second places, and 2 bronze third places. I don't know exactly how the scoring works, but Shaqnu gets a rating of 381 points. That puts him in first place. And just look at this lineup. So many people active. Splen, of course, as well, and so many others. Who stands out to you, Osashas? And how cool is it that we've got so many people here in this race that are the absolute most competitive, highest level skill of any ship racer?
Yeah, it's not surprising to see a lot of crossover, like you mentioned, Shaqnu and Splen. We're seeing here, of course, ship racing and ground racing, so huge shout out to those ground racers putting all that time as well. We've got Billboy, who was, like we talked about before, was one person that just came into this series, right? Just getting that pro license, so that's super cool to see him up there. And it's just a sign of how much practice these guys are putting in, even outside of their races, even outside of prep for a specific race event like this one. These guys are going and time trialing on all the suite of tracks, putting in world record times and seconds and thirds and so on and so forth to raise that scoring and really make a name for themselves and show off their skills in a different way than just live racing. Really, really cool to see.
I think this also really shows that not everybody is a fan of time trialing. I'm not sure where you stand on time trialing. I'm not a huge fan of it. I prefer to get out there and race others. Look at Durk. He won heat number 2, and he's sitting at a rating of 50.
Yeah, I'll once again poke people. We did an XGP, Extreme G podcast yesterday, talked about this a little bit. one of the things that holds me back a little bit from time trialing is just the amount of time available to put in stuff in these time trials. It obviously takes a lot of repeat attempts, a lot of crashes, a lot of getting back to the location, which we all know in Star Citizen takes a lot of time. So as we get more of these tracks into Arena Commander and replicated there, you know, that might open up some opportunities to put a little more time into time trialing with less time required for setup and logistics and everything else required.
Dude, that's a great point. And again, something that we touched on yesterday in our Extreme G podcast. Go check that out if you haven't. We talked about Arena Commander, the racing that's coming to Arena Commander. We talked holo gates, what holo gates could mean in the hands of players. We had some fun there with everybody talking about these things. So check it out if you're interested in hearing more on that. In the meantime, we're waiting to hear back from race direction. And we can get this first heat underway. Maybe we can check
race grid is all set. Race starts 60 seconds.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Yeah,
looks like
60 seconds and we'll be rocking and rolling here. We're getting close, and we'll see who can come out to an early lead in this first main event.
I'm really excited. Turn 1 is super important. We've got Boltok then in first place. Probably important to note as well that starting in first place means that you're starting on the left. You always start on the outside of the turn. So Durk in second has the inside line. Durk also is riding with an onboard camera. We've got our camera team set up around the team. Shout out to them. We've got Matt Cat, iMonster, Kaylee Star, Steve CC, and Turkin all supporting and giving you the best of the angles available. So we'll get you that chase cam as well and see what Durk can do in this first heat. And it's going to be spectacular. Our grid's moved forward a little bit, hasn't it? Because we've got quite a few racers lined up today.
Yeah, had to squeeze the grid just a little bit forward compared to the start-finish line, just to make sure we get the separation we want. We don't want a lot of unforced collisions on the start, right? We want to give everybody a chance to get up and going and let them race it out.
All right, here we go. There's your countdown. The races are off. I saw an early start from Flippadip. We'll have to check that after the race. We've got Boltok then losing 2 positions to Durk and Flip. And they're off. Let's see how they do as they make their way through the crossroads and up to Matterhorn.
Yeah, Flippadip with a comfortable lead here for as far as we're in. Durk overtaking for second. Shacknew in third right now. Boltok in fourth.
Wow, there's Flip then already in the lead and up to the wall. Durk in second place, doing a really good job sticking with him. Let's see how the gaps develop over time. It's always interesting to see how exactly people are spending their time going through the speed check. This is all about nose on TVI. We know how sensitive the 350Rs are. It's all about getting your nose on TVI as quickly as you can and optimizing your speed.
Yeah, it's funny the transition that happens because you basically get some clean air and you go into time trial mode, right? You're not worrying about anything. And then suddenly, if you're in second, like say Durk chasing Flippadip, everything changes. Racecraft comes into the equation, trying to not be pressured by folks behind you or in front of you to make a mistake and race how you wouldn't necessarily. So it's all a balancing act for these guys of speed versus decision making.
Very, very cool. The crossroads are going to be interesting too because we have that crossover, and with 8 laps, you're going to see separation. You're going to see people falling back a little bit and ending up in a position where they're going to have to watch traffic.
Yep, definitely.
Look at Boltok getting very close to Durk.
Oh man, yeah, we covered this before. Well, not today, but we talked about it. These racers have kind of made a gentleman's agreement for the crossover, for some going low and some going high based on whether you were entering or exiting the crossover.
Wow.
So
look
we'll
how
see
close
who honors
Boltok
that.
is following there behind Durk, dude. That's insane. They're right neck and neck. It's so good to see these 350s race so close together. Let's see who is able to pull out first through the crossroads. Flippadip obviously walking away with the lead here. But Boltok and Durk still hashing it out for that second place.
Yeah, we have a huge race for the lead here. Shacknew's not that far off as well, so the front 4 kind of separating from Sater in 5th, but the front 4 are all in position to fight for that win.
They're just staying
Dirk
so
looks
close
like he's
together.
got a little more pace right now. Dirk closing on Flip a Dip, going into Matterhorn. Dirk is really, really close now. Definitely interesting to see at different sections where this squeeze kind of happens, right? You can definitely see that some of these front four have different sections of the track mastered a little more than the other. So there's definitely this this spring effect going on. Oh, and Boltok spins out there.
Yeah, for our camera team, then let's get our eyes on Boltok and Durnk. Let's watch that battle if it progresses. I think we've got Shaknu then coming up on Durnk now, or on Boltok, excuse me. We'll have to see how that develops as they make their way through the speed trap and on their way to the crossroads.
Durnk once again closing a little bit on Flip a Dip in this back section, carrying a little more speed into the drop here. We'll see who comes out the closer.
I want to know if Durnk can catch up to Flip. Here they go through turn one, all of them doing a great job sticking to the height limit and up the climb. I want to know if Durnk can get closer to Flip. We're on lap 4 as it stands. We're 3 minutes and a little bit in, 4 minutes now. And it's going to be really interesting to see if Durnk can do anything. It looks like he's had his head down, you know, with Boltok kind of getting contested out of the lead. I wonder what happened there.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch it, unfortunately. I think he clipped something the way he spun out. But yeah, I just wanted to mention again really quick, it's so cool seeing Flip a Dip and Durnk in first and second. Flip, you know, being the reason that term was coined, the Flip from our last series at Yadar, achieving all the way from AM to pro license, and then Dirk doing the same through this series right now, and both of them in first and second in this first main. Really cool to see.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. It's really fun watching them, you know, make the left turn coming out of the crossroads and then dipping down. It's beautiful to see. We've still got Flip a Dip in the lead, and Durnk is he closing the gap? I want to say the gap is kind of staying where we have been watching it. I don't think he's getting any closer. Shaknu and Boltok, though. Let's get our camera team focused on Boltok chasing down Shaknu. They are really close together. I really want to know if Boltok can catch up, because I guess Shaknu has overtaken Boltok after Boltok had that unfortunate crash. But is Shaknu faster or is Boltok faster? I want to see where their pace is sitting.
Yeah, from what I could just see from Boltok as well, it doesn't look like he was missing a wing or anything off his ship too. And the pace that he's keeping right now too tells me that his ship's probably in good shape. So that's a good sign for Boltok, and he's definitely dogging Shaknu right now and keeping him super honest.
Yeah, dude, look how close they are together though. They're Boltok with the inside line. Shaknu, though, this is all about boost timing as well, because they'll come out of speed check with probably the same speeds, but then whoever has more boost and deploys it better around the speed trap will come out in first place. Let's see who is in the lead. They're still really close together. We've got Flip a Dip coming across the line. Durnk in second place with the same gap. It looks like, let's see here. It's Boltok then in third place right now, and Shaknu riding in fourth. Let's watch them go around turn one. Boltok very tight, Shaknu a little wider, but running up the hill a little quicker.
Yeah, Boltok holding it right now. It looks like he's secured that pass on Shaknu. He's kind of proven that he's got the pace at least, so we'll see if he makes a mistake or is forced into a mistake by Shaknu, or if he can hold it and start closing in that front two of Flip a Dip and Durnk.
I think Durnk is closing up on Flip too in second place. So after this pass, let's get our camera team to focus back on Durnk and see if he can close the gap on Flip a Dip. I think either Flip a Dip has slowed down a little, or maybe Durnk has sped up. I just want to call out,
like I said, that
we've got all our racers still in contention. Not a single DNF. I'm so incredibly impressed at that.
Yeah, it's always wonderful to see when these guys can slug it out in the entire race, really push it, and we don't have a bunch of unfortunate DNFs where guys can't really strut their stuff and show what they're capable of.
Here's Flip across the line and entering lap number 7. Durnk still in second. Still running that same gap. Shaknu and Boltok still fighting it out. Boltok still in third place and Shaknu right behind him. One thing I want to say about Shaknu is, let me interrupt myself there. We've got a battle going for 5th. We've got Splen and Satyr then going around turn 1. Satyr getting knocked out but still in the race. I don't know if they tapped. It looks like they tapped. I realize that's happening off screen. That's okay. We've got Splen and Satyr then separating a little bit now. I lost my train of thought. We were talking about, was it? Yeah, Shaknu. Shaknu, always very patient when it comes to overtakes. He doesn't mind waiting for the right opportunity to strike. So I'm curious to continue following that.
Yes, and that was definitely, I think, a learning. That was definitely a lesson for him over time, right? Shaknu kind of started out as the time trial hero, similar to some other racers, and has really developed a lot of racecraft over, even prior to the Division Series, right, to our previous XGR racing. Always cool to see that come to light with these racers.
Here's Flip It then across the line one more time. Now we're on lap 8, the final lap. Durnk in second place, Boltok in third, and there is Shaknu in fourth. All around turn 1, they're running identical lap times. Flippidip is not able to extend. Durnk is not able to crawl any closer. Boltok neither. Shaknu neither. Their lap times, what are we looking at? Boltok with the fastest lap, and yeah, they're just neck and neck. They're just neck and neck. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, it's still just that slinky effect back and forth. Different sections of the track, one is faster than the other, but it's kind of equaling out in the wash. Really, really fun to see.
I think we've got a battle on our hands. This is last lap. Watch that. We've got Durnk in third. Oh, he gets knocked out of place by Boltok, it looks like. Turning back inside. Boltok then getting extremely close to Flippidip in first place. Let's watch the action around the speed trap. Who is taking the crossroads first? Is Flippidip going to maintain the lead? I think we've got our first explosion. It's Speedweed that's come to a stop. Speedweed running in 9th place. Flippidip now through the crossroads and dipping down. Boltok in second place. Here they come. Flippidip across the finish. Boltok in second. Shaknu then across the finish in third. Congratulations. Lagos overtaking Durnk last second there. Coming in, what is it?
Fourth.
Oh, Lagos, yeah. No, Lagos is down a lap. Excuse me. Lagos is down a lap. So Durnk in fourth, and then Splen in fifth. Sorry, we just missed Splen crossing the finish line. Here's Billboy. Billboy not able to deliver any more than 6th place. Satyr in 7th. A little disappointed. I don't know what happened with Billboy, of course. I was expecting him to be able to crawl closer. Let's not forget, he started in last place, of course, so it's good to see him crawl at least a little bit up. Wow. I'm impressed with how many people we had finished. It looks like Speedweed and Strazik then DNFing last minute.
Yeah. I'm very impressed with Flippidip on that. Held off a lot of pressure basically the entire race. So why don't we pull him down and have a little chat with Flippidip and see how he's feeling after that win. Flippidip, congratulations. That was some great racing. Way to hold off all that pressure the entire race.
Thanks. Do you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yep, we've got you.
Okay, good. Sorry. Thanks. I was really hoping to just get some clearance at the start. Managed to get ahead of Boltok and Durnk right away, and then just had to stay on it. This track, once you're ahead, you get a little bit of a boost from just having those clear lines ahead of you. So it's just like a game of perfection at that point.
Did you get any sense of the sections where Durnk was closing on you there? You guys were kind of springing back and forth based on where on the track you were. Were you getting any sense of where he was at behind you?
Yeah, I didn't do a lot of checking because I was trying to maintain just focus, but you can hear the 350R is a very loud ship. So you get within 200 or 300 meters and you know that someone's nearby. So yeah, I could tell he was behind me the whole time.
What I want to know
Awesome.
What I want to know is, were you running your peak lap times there? Were you pacing yourself at any point?
I think that, there are times that I was, I think, I think the fastest lap times require pushing the corners as close as humanly possible. And, I find that like my fast race pace, if I you can lean off of some of those obstacles and you'll lose a couple seconds compared to the fastest time trial lines. So I think you can still be pushing it, but it's as long as you're not pushing as close to it, you can keep a little bit of safety.
That's great. And my final question, do you have anybody watching and rooting for you today?
Oh, shout out to Black Star Racing and everybody's, rooting for us over there. And I got a couple of friends in my, shout out, hey, Allie, my partner.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, great job, and yeah,
And Katie
best
for
of
watching
luck
too.
leading into main event 2 and 3, and yeah, keep it consistent, and hope to see you up here again.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Flip.
That's
All
great.
right, awesome to hear from him. Yeah. Always cool when you can have an exciting race like that with pressure on the entire time, guys slugging it out. You don't have just a runaway winner. Always so exciting to be able to see some close bar to bar racing the entire time.
Yeah, and so few DNFs as well. It's just really cool to see basically everybody keeping it consistent and safe throughout the entirety of that race. Only that unfortunate 2 crashes near the end. Let's pull up the results and have a little look then at what this means after Olympics, after race 1. So Flippadip, of course, in first place with a total time of 9 minutes, 33 seconds, and 794 milliseconds. Bulltalk in second, only a second and a half behind, so close. And followed by Shaq New, During Splam, Billboy Sater, Lagos, and Speedweed and Strazik, both DNFing on lap 6. Want to confirm with race direction real quick, did Speedweed DNF before Strazik then? We'll wait for that answer. I'm asking that, of course, because we've got Olympic scoring, so your finishing position determines how many points you're taking with you. Flippadip takes a single point with him. The fewest points you can get is 3 if you finish first in 3 mains, and that will see you win the race day.
Yep. Very simple. We didn't quite cover this in the preamble, but yeah, 3 main events. Your score is your finishing position. So flip it up 1 point, Bull Talk 2 points, and after those 3 main events, we add up all the points, and the lowest points wins. So it's like golf. You want a lower score at the end of the day.
Very, very cool. And we can have a look at what that means for the lineup if the race director confirms that's all set. Just gonna wait and see what it means for Speed and Strazik on that second main. Oh, fastest lap there of 1 minute and 10. That's that's a great lap time by Bulltalk. Now there is some
Not
discretion
to see
advised.
him charging through
though.
the. Yeah, of course, yep. This is all manually timed and stuff by our race director, right? So there's a chance that this is not going to be perfect, of course, but.
Yeah, very good to see. So waiting to hear back from the race direction. They're probably getting everything squared away and getting our racers lined back up. We've of course got Speedweed and Strazik then making their way back to the track to line up for race number 2. And that's one of those topics we covered in the XGP, isn't it? With all that setup time takes time when it comes to racing in the live PU. And it's going to become even more challenging in the future, right? With Death of a Spaceman becoming more serious with every patch.
Yep, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out in terms of PU racing versus Arena Commander racing, like we'd mentioned. And really quick, going back a little bit to something we talked about yesterday as well, but something you had also brought up, the amount of racers finishing here. We had a question here yesterday on the podcast talking about how close these guys are pushing to the top of the skill ceiling in terms of time trialing. And I kind of brought it into the racing. Things like this that we're seeing here with a lot of these guys finishing, folks keeping their cool when they have pressure on, whether they're trying to make a pass or not be passed. All of those things are kind of coming to light as these guys are getting more race experience, getting more comfortable, getting better at handling the pressure. And that's why we're seeing such awesome competition here today, as these guys are getting more experience.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, we saw so many crashes on the Pro-Am. I mean, yes, it was double the amount of contestants. You know, we had like 20, I think 24. It was a lot. And 10 is definitely easier to manage for everybody. So I guess the amount of crashes goes down with fewer contestants, but still really cool to see. Very, very cool. That turn 1 was good. Everyone took a nice wide line. Everyone, I think, exited turn 1 in sequence. We did see Flippadip come off the line. Was it a little quick? Didn't hear anything from race direction, so I figure that's fine. We do use the countdown system now, where we use soundboard on Discord to have random intervals between 3, 2, 1, pause, go, and that makes it random for everybody. That's really cool.
Yeah, we obviously do our very best to make this as competitive as possible, keep as much competitive integrity as possible. But of course, this is the internet. We've got racers from all over the world with varying latencies back to whether it's the game server or Discord. So we do our very best with the tools we have, of course, trying to hold races across the world at the same time.
You dude, we talk about this all the time. You're in America, I'm in Europe, we step on each
SGR
other's
grid
big
is
toes
all
all the
set.
time. All right, let's take a look at that grid then and confirm. So we've got looks like we've got a little bug there. Race direction, I think you've missed a position for Satyr. We've got Flip-a-Dip, so it's mixed right now, or flipped, I should say. Flip-a-Dip should start on the left, and then Boltok in second, starting on the right. Shaknu, Durnk, Splen, Billboy, Lagos, and then it looks like we've got Strazik in ninth and Speedweed in, Speedweed in 10th. I guess.
Our live chat, of course, for the broadcast was just chomping at the bit for us to say the flip, and now we've said flip about 1 million times. Of course,
dude.
Big shout out, of course, for Flip from winning. But
I mean, every broadcast we do, there's something. It's either absolutely, or it's the flip, or I don't know.
Oh, it's wonderful. Thank you guys so much for being active and awesome in chat and watching this exciting racing that's going down.
So our question from the commentation booth for race direction is, of course, what's happening with Satyr. Would be great to know what he's doing. And I think we've got our racers lining up right now. So we should have main 2 going underway pretty soon. Still see some origins flying around.
Yep, looks to be the case. And yeah, just to repeat, of course, for how this works, this grid lineup for main event number 2 will go off of the results of main event number 1. So obviously Flip in first and so on and so forth. So
every Division Pro race sees 3 main races. Every race has the same amount of laps. Every race has the same contestants. The only thing that changes is the grid. The grid is based on the previous main race. So if you finish first, you start in first. If you finish last, you start in last place. And you accumulate all those points, like Osasha's explained, with the Olympic system. And I think we've still got our grid building here. This is a good view. I gotta say, dude, the Origin 350 or whatever other 300 series, it looks so good and appropriate to Euterpe because it's so large. I mean, the track is so large, so the Origins, they fill up the screen nicely.
Yeah, on top of that too. Oh, getting from race.
SCR grid was all set, just a refresh needed for you guys.
Copy that.
Can we do that again real quick? So Marble, let's have another look at the grid. See if we got Satyr in place this time. Yeah, there we go. We've got Satyr then in 7th, Lagos 8th, Speedweed 9th, and Strazik 10th. And now we can see that correctly. So Flip-a-Dip starting on the left. You were saying, Osasha's.
I was just going to mention as well too. You mentioned 3 main events. For all intents and purposes, these 3 main events are all equal to one another. The only exception is in the case of we get to the end of the day and there is a points tie. So say 2 racers both had 6 points. The tiebreaker for that is based on the 3rd main event. The reason that's done is that the racers have had the most time to warm up. Everybody should be at their most competitive level. So that would be the edge there, the tiebreaker in the case of a points tie on the day.
Love what Goldie is. Shout out to Goldie. Watching this in a gazebo in the middle of a storm with a cigar. Hey, dude, that's one hell of a way to watch a race. And I hope you're enjoying it.
Definitely.
I can feel the storms, I'll tell you. We're flying these Reliants around here, and the storms in Euterpe are so strong that they blow harder than your main engines can push in the opposite direction. You'll be 100% main power and still being blown backwards. It's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Especially you get talking, you don't think about it, and suddenly you're blown, 300 meters to the right of where you thought you were. It's pretty funny to see in practice. And of course, this has an influence on racing. This is something you can legitimately feel as these racers are going around the track. Especially you're talking about these guys getting really tight with one another. Like these storms and wind gusts could not only play an effect in visibility, but also in just actually blowing your ship a little bit.
Can we talk about paint jobs?
Sure. We have wildly varying opinions on these, but I'm always down.
I mean, I think we agree on one thing. We want to be able to customize paint jobs to our heart's content.
Absolutely, TM.
Yeah, dude. That one was deserving of an absolutely. You can spend your absolutely credit. It's just, you know, you play games like Forza or whatever, like Gran Turismo, and you've got a paint job editor, right? You just slap on some decals, put in colors, put in racing numbers. I want that, dude. These preset paint jobs, it's a good first basis for what Star Citizen is offering right now, but Star Citizen being that sandbox game, I want sandbox paint jobs.
Yeah, especially talking about cool things in the long run when it comes to maybe in-game sponsorships and stuff like that. So you have some mining corporation sponsoring a racer, and so you have your number 32 ship with the mining equivalent of a Home Depot logo on the front. Like, there's so much potential for that would come from that kind of a system that would be super, super cool for not only just the game, but like the immersion of the game and really leaning into what we're doing here, which is professional level racing.
I want professional level of racing. Speaking of, we're watching Steve CC in the Reliant. We're using the Reliant for all sorts of things. It's got a nice bubble cockpit. It's got beautiful wings. It's got good VTOL thrusters. And in this case, we've got Steve CC then lining up the grid, making sure that our racers are spaced apart properly. We're not winging this. We've got structured grid positions with, in this case, 175 meters between, let's say, forward to aft separation. First and second are 87 meters apart. First and third, 175, and so forth. And look at it. It shows. This is great. This is a really, really cool thing to see.
Yeah, this is obviously something we've experimented and toyed with over much of our history with racing, trying to figure out the best way that we can get a lot of racers off the start safely, hopefully avoid any unforced errors, collisions that shouldn't have happened, because that's our number one goal, is to get these guys out racing without unfortunate DNFs so that they can really show what they've got and go for a win, rather than having an unfortunate DNF off the starting grid or in turn one.
So yeah, shout out to Steve for doing the lineup, Luigi for doing the button pressing. We can have I bet you if I look up right now, straight up into heaven, somewhere we'll find Luigi. There he is, always in the prospector.
There he is.
And I'll tell you why. It's got a really nice wide open cockpit. He can get out into his seat, or out of his seat, and just stand in front of the glass. I mean, here he is. Let's get him to wave while he's setting everybody up. Look at those retros firing, dude. They're working hard.
Yeah, and obviously for anybody that didn't connect the dots, he's doing that straight above so he can get a perfect view straight above of that finish line when he's counting people across the finish, hopefully be able to tell who gets in front of who, and then also be far enough so he can see who's incoming and prep for those button presses. Again, huge shout outs to Louis for doing such an awesome job. He pushes hundreds, if not thousands, of buttons every race day, and it's not an easy thing to do.
And then we've got Marble behind the scenes making sure that all the right camera angles are coming to your screen. She is basically our broadcast operator. Our broadcast cameras are working hard at getting you the action properly through all our routines. And then we've got Marble pressing the right cameras at the right time, making sure you get your stream results on screen. So as Secretus mentioned, she's giving you a bow right now, Secretus. Marble would definitely qualify for MVP as well. And again, our camera team, Matt Cat, iMonster, Kaylee Stars, and Turrican today. If you're interested in cameraing, reach out. We're always looking for more people to join us. There's always something to do to support XGR.
Starting grid is all set. Main 2 starting in 60 seconds. Thank you.
Look at this shot here. We've got the racers lined up, Luigi overhead. It's gorgeous. Luigi's going to frame this one.
Let's see, Boltok. So we haven't quite addressed this yet. Flip It Up does have the front position, but he does not have the inside on the turn. So he's got a lead over Boltok, but he does not necessarily have that inside line. So I'll be interested to see if Boltok can get a good jump, maybe hug that inside a little bit more, maybe risk it a little bit and try to get to an early lead, or if Flip It Up will hold it and get that clean air like he had in main event 1.
Yeah, it's like the turntables have.
Yeah. Those who get the reference, raise your hand in chat.
Yeah, that needs a face, right?
Yep.
Here we go. That was a quick beep. Flip It Up then, maintaining a lead to Boltok. Around. Oh, we've got an early collision between Billboy and Durnk merging on turn 1. Flip It Up maintaining the lead, Bulldog maintaining second, and Shaknu then crawling closer into third position.
Yeah, Flip It Up holding it here. Boltok pushing him. Shaknu right there. Satyr in fourth. Unfortunate, of course, to see those guys have gone down in that first section. It looks like they collided and kind of pushed each other into the wall. Really, really unfortunate. But the front three of Shaknu, Boltok, and Flip It Up are already separating themselves a little bit from Satyr in fourth.
And this is going to hurt them because, as you know, finishing, mid-range is a lot better than finishing not at all because you DNF'd. So that's a lot of points. That's going to hurt them. Really cool battle going on here. Flip It Up again in the lead, maintaining it, and Boltok chasing him down. Let's see if anything changes this time. Looks like we've got different boost timings.
Ooh, Boltok to the inside there. He does overtake. Oh, no, back and forth. These guys are really, really tight here. Shaknu getting into the battle, of course, even tighter again. These guys are going to go basically 3 wide over the finish line. So we'll see who can come up. Oh.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Just adding my excitement. I think we've got Boltok then in the lead now. Over Flip It Up! Flip It Up crashes! He hits something coming up to the climb. I think he's out. I think we've lost Flip It Up.
Oh, no, it looks like we have. So Boltok inheriting the clean lead. For some reason, my sticks are doing crazy things, so I apologize. Shaknu in second, of course. Still, Satyr is actually closed up. So I don't know if that's a result of the issues from Flip It Up there that's kind of slowed these guys down, or if Satyr's just pushing it.
This is going to mix everything up. This changes everything with, God, who do we lose? Flip It Up, Billboy, Durnk. I mean, Billboy could not use a DNF. If he could have finished this one, he would have really crawled back into a good position. But for Flip It Up, he is not going to be able to afford another one of these crashes. Boltok then in the lead, and Shaknu. Let's see if he can chase him down. He must smell blood now. He knows he can win this one.
Yeah, this would be interesting to see. I think Boltok and Shaknu both have really similar pace. So I think this is going to be more of a game of who makes less mistakes as compared to who has the raw speed over one another.
And who's flying with their cargo ramp down on the Origin? I think that's whoever started in second. So that's Boltok. That's interesting. I can guarantee you there's not a strategic reason to do that, but yeah.
Probably just overlooking it, or maybe just some server desync, right? It may not be showing the same on his side, but yeah, these two in the front pulling a little bit away from Satyr again. So yeah, it might have been more of just that crazy issue with Flip It Up crashing there that kind of slowed them up a little bit.
You know, we joke about this all the time, but with salvaging, with salvage coming into the game right now, there's always these ship corpses, these carcasses laying around the tracks. It's becoming a real occupation to reap the benefits after race day. You know, come to the track and clean up by salvaging all the parts. And after this main, we're giving away a vulture, so that's going to be a lot of fun to the audience. So yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, we had talked about camera operator, stuff like that, but I mean, there's other facets and things that are involved in racing that aren't even camera operation. So if you think racing is cool and want to be involved, but you're not a racer yourself, yeah, hit us up. There's probably a way you can be involved and come have fun with us.
Boltok then maintaining the lead. I'm getting a few stutters here on the screen, so we'll have to see if that impacts the ratios as well. So far, no further DNFs. Just Flip It Up, Billboy, and Durnk then DNFing. Flip It Up, of course, DNFing on lap 2. That means that he still has a better finishing position than the other two. Looks like we've got about 2.5 seconds between Boltok and Shaknu. And I think we might have a battle with Splen and Satyr. So let's keep an eye on Splen and Satyr as well. I think they're running pretty close together. It'll be interesting to see. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, tight battle there. We had, and we hadn't covered this as well. Splen actually was dealing with, I believe, a shoulder injury. So he's actually had to change his setup since our last race at Yadar, which he dominated. And I think we're seeing that manifest a little bit, both in his qualifying through the Pro-Am and then here today. He doesn't look like he quite has the edge over everyone like he did with Yadar. So cool to see Splen still fighting it out for a podium here.
I'm going to give him crap. Splen's just old. He's always complaining about injury. It's an excuse at this point. Here is Splen and Satyr coming across the line, though. They are neck and neck. Let's have a little look at this. It's an interesting battle. Splen riding the low line, Satyr keeping it quite high. Splen very tight, though. Satyr a little tighter and just about within the track limits. Let's keep an eye on Satyr, track team, and see if we can see anything manifest there. Satyr is going to work hard to try and catch up.
Yeah, Satyr actually going back at Splen there. Looked like he almost was able to overtake him. Hard to tell here right now. Yeah, Satyr takes the third place back from Splen. So these guys slugging it out for that podium position.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool to see. It's interesting to see multiple track battles. I think we've got Lagos and Strazik also battling it out quite close together. Let's keep an eye on Splen and Satyr, though. They are the tightest right now. I can report in the meantime, we've got Shaknu still chasing Boltok down for first place. The gap has increased a little bit, so Shaknu is falling slightly behind. Let's keep an eye on Splen and Satyr.
Yeah, Satyr's still holding it. Oh, no, Splen dives back with a little bit different boost timing, so Splen overtakes for third again as they go in towards the finish line here. These guys are really, really closely paced today. This is fun to see.
Yeah, that is really cool to see. Satyr again riding a little higher, Splen a little lower. It feels to me like Splen is able to capitalize through turn one a lot. He's doing something. Satyr seems to drift a lot wider.
Yeah, I'm guessing it has to do with where they're saving boost, right? I think their boost timings are very, very different from one another. So that's why I think we're seeing this slinky effect even more extreme than we had mentioned before in main event one with a couple of those other racers. These guys are really, really have a lot of differential between their times on certain sectors of the track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, it's been so much fun. This is a competitive sport, so it's obviously everybody has their own, you know, God, how do you say this? Everyone's for themselves in these races, but still everybody comes together and shares boost timings. It's like sharing race setups as well, isn't it? It's just really great to see.
Yeah, it's funny too because we have some psychological games that some of these racers take part in as well too. We've seen it between Splen and Shaknu, for example, holding time trials that they have in advance, so that as soon as the other one beats the other one, they can dump one right ahead and beat it back, right? It's fun is to see some of these psychological games and maybe some information withholding in some cases in a sport that we've established here. It does have a lot of information sharing just innately.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like the gap between Satyr and Splen has grown substantially. Let's go back to our race leader, the battle for first place then, everybody. Shaknu chasing down Boltok. They're still pretty close. It looks to be about a second, slightly more perhaps. And at this point, I feel like Boltok is just outpacing Shaknu. And I mean, who knows at this point? Like I would have always thought Shaknu is like your fastest racer, right? He's the guy that was the first really to give it to Splen. And now we've got other racers like Boltok, like outpacing Shaknu. It's so cool to see. I love that.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about Boltok though too, and having raced him just a little bit myself as well, even if he doesn't necessarily have the pace in some cases, and I'm not saying that's true in this case, he's extremely consistent. So where you may have somebody like Shaknu that maybe is really fast but might make a mistake here or there, Boltok is just really, really consistent and seems to have that ability to not cave under pressure and really be able to go mistake free. And I think we're seeing that play out right now.
Right. So we've got Boltok still maintaining the lead, Shaknu in second, followed by Splen and Satyr. The gaps are definitely growing. We're on the final lap now. So we've got about 50% of a lap left to go as they're making their way around the speed trap. again, knows the TVI, snapping that turn really quickly. The wider, the more, how do you say that? The more shallow your turn, the slower you are. You want to snap that turn as quickly as you can and make it a real point-to-point race. As Boltok then goes across the crossroads, down to the finish line. Shaqnu very close behind him, but he's not been able to close the gap. Boltok in first, Shaqnu finishes in second. Great job, and let's see if Splend can maintain the lead over Satyr for third.
Yeah, great job there to Boltok. And folks will remember that he finished second in that first main event, so he's setting himself up really nicely for the overall. There's Splend in third, Satyr in fourth. Great racing to all those guys.
Wow. Good job, everybody. That was an interesting race. Yeah, in a moment, we'll go and take a look at the race results, and we'll take a look at the Olympic scoring and how it accumulates. I'm terrible with that. Good one calling out Splend. It's going to be really interesting to see how this develops. I'm interested to see what this means for Flipidip and what it means for Durnk. Yeah, Billboy is definitely going to struggle here.
And there goes Legos Niera across the line in fifth, Strazik in sixth. And then we'll keep an eye out here really quick for Speedweed, who is still circling the track, I believe. Oh.
Big shout out to everybody watching. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm seeing a whole bunch of people mentioning that they're watching racing for the first time. Personally, I think the live races are the most fun thing to watch. It's definitely why we do this, right? To highlight these races live. The Division Series really helps to, dare I say, weed out those that aren't quite ready yet to race with the pros, and that's what makes these races so freaking awesome.
Yep, definitely. Well, let's see if we can pull our race winner here, Boltok, down and chat with him for a second. Boltok, congratulations. Did awesome that race, holding back Shaqnu that entire time. Was dogging you pretty much since lap 2, if I remember right. How are you feeling? See if Boltok can get his mic going here real quick.
Hi, Boltok.
Boltok, tu es là?
Oui, je suis là.
Yeah, you want to translate for us, Louis?
Yeah.
Oh, ça. Oui, il a dit comment t'as fait pour gagner la course.
J'ai essayé d'être le plus régulier possible tout en étant safe.
That he said that he just managed his boost timing and try to be safe as possible.
Awesome.
So what I want to know from Boltok is if he's running full pace right now and if he expected to outpace Shaqnu and the rest.
Il a demandé est-ce que tu es en train d'aller à 100% et est-ce que tu penses que tu peux gagner sur Shaqnu et tout le monde est.
Bah, je vais essayer.
Alors, t'es pas à 100%.
Si.
He said that yes, he is at 100%, but he'll still try to keep the lead for the next main.
That's awesome. Can you finally say to him, I think it's real brave that he comes and joins our community, the race, even though there might be some small language barriers. I think it's really cool to see that we've got people from all kinds of nationalities joining these races and all the racers helping each other out, even when language barriers are a thing.
Il a dit qu'il veut te remercier et que tu es très brave pour avoir venir sur le Division Racing et à cause du barrière de langage et tout ça, donc il est très fier de ça.
Non, au début j'avais peur, mais après j'ai vu que j'avais mon daddy Luigi avec moi et maintenant j'ai plus peur, je peux venir quand je veux.
He said before he was a bit scared to race with us with the language barrier, but then his dad Luigi is here, so he's all good now.
And tell him we need more Frenchies to come and join. So tell him we need. This is an invitation to all.
Ouais, on a besoin de beaucoup de Français là, si vous nous entendez. Donc rejoignez-nous à faire du racing à XGR. Merci.
Beautiful. And good luck.
Awesome. Yep. Good luck, Boltok. In the next ones, you're set up really nicely. So yeah, look forward to good things from you in main event 3. Thanks.
Race results are all set.
All right, Marvel, let's pull up the race results and take a look. You can see the nationality of all the racers. There are so many Americans. It shouldn't surprise me, but it still does. I love seeing it. Shout out to all the Americans. It definitely, there's been times where it's like, damn, we need more European representation. So it's really good to see folk like Boltok show up, and we definitely need more. We've got Lagos as well as another Frenchie. But beyond them, it's Boltok, Lagos, and Speedweed as the only ones on my side of the pond. And everybody else is US. So Boltok finishing in first place, followed by Shacknu 1.6 seconds behind. Splen in third, Sader in fourth, then Lagos, Strazik, Speedweed, and we have 3 DNFers. We will verify positions 9 and 10 because they DNF'd on the same lap. We'll have to see who went first. I don't quite remember. I think it was maybe Durnk. But yeah, Flippity, Billboy, and Durnk. Oh!
Yep. It was about at the same time there with those two, so yeah, I'm not sure exactly.
Boltok taking a second off his lap time.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you noticed that. That is a quick lap. So it's not that surprising that Shacknu was just not able to quite make it happen and get around Boltok. Just kept it solid the entire race, and really fast lap times, obviously, too.
Goldie saying, what is a Canada? Yeah, there is one Canadian. I was definitely bucketing there a little bit. I apologize to all Canadians in advance for that one. Speaking of Canadians, I am so incredibly disappointed. I know there was something that came in between, but shout out to my favorite Canadian Maverick. He is the one that whatever race is going on, if he's allowed to bring an Origin 350, he will bring an Origin 350. Don't matter if it loses. So to see him miss out on an Origin 350 race around the Icebreaker has gotta hurt for him, but also for me. I miss him. So shout out to him, and I hope you can race and join us for the next one.
Yeah, total ditto. Big shout out to Mav. We miss you, and I'm sure you would have done awesome here, if not been competing for the win. So hopefully get you on one of these very, very soon.
Absolutely. We'll wait for race direction to confirm that the grid is set for the stream. In the meantime, we're watching them line up. And we've got Shacknu already positioning himself in second place. We're still waiting for Boltok. I think maybe something happened to him. He's left his ship. He's probably grabbing a new one.
Grid is set for stream. Just a refresh, please. Thank you.
Sweet. Let's take a look at the grid line up there, Marble, and confirm the positions. Very interested about Durnk and Flip. Here we go. Let's see. So it's Durnk then in 10th, Flip in 8th together with Billboy. I think that's broken. I don't know what's happening. Maybe, Luigi, this could be on your side. I think Flipidip and Billboy share the 8th position. Let me know if that's accurate or if you fixed it, and then we'll throw a refresh at it.
And I believe that should be Flipidip ahead.
Just throw a refresh at it.
But yeah.
Let me work my magic.
Yeah, but yeah, the two beneficiaries kind of the carnage in these first two events, and you'll see here, of course, on the lineup going into main event 3 have been Boltok and Shacknu, who both have been able to put in some consistent results. Shacknu with a 3rd and a 2nd, and Boltok, of course, with a 2nd and 1st. So they've set themselves up really nicely going to main event 3. Splen also not too far off with a 5th and a 3rd. So his points total isn't too crazy at the moment.
Yeah. It's good to, I mean, I don't remember where he finished in the last one, Splen, but I think this was his best result.
He finished third.
Oh, also. I meant main one.
Sorry, fifth in main one. Yep.
Right. Let's take a look at the Olympic scoring. If it's set, looks like it is. We've got Boltok then with 3 points leading. That's awesome. Shacknu with 5 points. So on the left side, they're not positions, right? They're the points that people have accumulated. So Boltok with 3 points, Shacknu with 5, Splen with 8, Flipidip with 9, all the way through to Speedweed with 16. Strazik and Speedweed in tie for 16 points. Oh, Flipidip has got some making up to do. It's really hurt him.
Yeah, unfortunately. But luckily, with that first place in the first one and not being dead last, DNF position in this second one, he's still very close to a podium spot. If he gets a good result this time and maybe have some bad luck from Boltok and Shaqnu, knock on wood, of course, again, he could still potentially be challenging for this overall, if not definitely for a podium position here at Euterpe Icebreaker. So we'll see what happens here in main event 3 soon.
Just gonna pull in Flipidip to ask him personally, what happened going up the climb? I'm very curious to learn how you ended up crashing out of this one.
Yeah, it was disappointing. I saw that Boltok was right above me. Sorry, I need to turn off you guys. So I saw Boltok was right above me, and that's one of the most dangerous places in the entire track. It puts you down, and it kind of condenses all of your lines into one point. So I was trying to stay as close to the mountain as I could just to avoid a collision there and to avoid getting squished. And ultimately, I ended up squishing myself, really.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I just clipped the top of a rock and then went spinning. So I was really right on the line there. But, like I said the last time you guys talked to me, that's the only way to get faster is take it really close. So I just went a little too fast, too close.
Well, just so you're aware, you're currently in 4th in the point standing, so you're not super far out after that impressive main event 1 showing. So, yeah, hopefully you can have a good result in this third main event and still land yourself on the podium.
Thanks.
What is the strategy, Flip, going into this race?
I think get a clean start, survive that couple of turns, see if we can, make up a little distance there, and then, if I can get ahead of a lot of the middle, then I can speed up. But seems like the only way to do that is maybe take an alternate boost strategy, something I haven't had to deal with yet. So we'll see how it goes.
That's great to hear from Flip. That was awesome. Yeah, I'm rooting for him for sure. I hope he can get a good result, and it's going to be a lot of fun watching him crawl his way back to the front. Hopefully, that's going to be a spectacular battle to follow. Yeah,
it's people who watch any kind of sporting events will be able to definitely relate with a little bit of the underdog mentality. Newer people to the scene, whether we're talking Flipidip or Billboy or Durnk, as compared to the Shaqnus and Splens, which are really established names in the racing scene. It's really fun to watch these, quote unquote newcomers, even though Flipidip's been around for a while now, but he still, hasn't had a name as long. To see them come in and slug it out with the heavy hitters that have been around for a while, it's really fun to see that play out.
100%. I'm loving the grid lineup on the Icebreaker. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I was just gonna say, it's funny. We were talking earlier about how the wind was blowing during that last race. I was getting blown so hard, I thought my sticks had broken and were blowing him in the wrong direction. I just could not correct, and I was like, "What is going on? I'm just flying away." Oh,
CTD for me, Marble. We need a camera switch.
You can hit my camera, Marble, if you've got it green, but.
Well, we'll make our way back in. No sweat.
Yeah. Of course, Star Citizen comes with some issues every once in a while. We are playing an alpha, so it's all good.
I hope I survived. Maybe I did.
Yeah, I am not sure right now. I see your marker still, so. Yeah, it looks like we're still got guys getting lined up here. Looks like Steve CC, who's helping with race direction today, of course, is lining up Boltok up here at the front. We've got the disconnected Black Maze there floating in a corner, still alive. It
waving,
looks like. So
waving.
We'll see if he can make it back in.
I'm waving. Hey, it'll be great if I can make it back in, obviously. That'll be nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Heads up to the racers. Careful.
Yep, and it will be fun, of course, after this is all said and done with, to see what the experience with some of these racers were all across all 3. We haven't seen any really nasty whiteout storms, but of course that's from a camera position and not necessarily rolling through the track. So I'm sure these guys have dealt with at least some visibility issues up to this point.
Faux show.
Yeah, as mentioned before, just such a beautiful ship, the 350. Well, the whole 300 series. It fits so perfectly here on Euterpe, of course, because this research facility that houses the Icebreaker track is, of course, new Babbage style and very Origin styled buildings. And then you have the beautiful Origin hull of the 300 series. Yeah, it just fits right in here like a glove.
We're about to watch Crash Recovery. Look at that. Look at that. We're back, everybody. Woohoo!
Oh, awesome. Always
nothing-
great to see when crash recovery works perfectly.
Like nothing ever happened. Thank you, Chris Roberts. Let's get that janky crosshair off screen. We don't need it. Camera drones when? Oh, here's definitely one of my favorite things about the most recent patches. Like, I love this. There's like we used to have the ships that like just kind of froze in midair, right? Like when crashes happen. But now we've got this. Oh, and young people, look away.
There's something about that that's so immersive and wonderful, just seeing the wreckage scattered. Of course, that's a little sad, seeing some poor racer's body, but do not fear, he will have respawned and been just fine.
Who needs a medic on site? Who needs an ambulance? For real though, that's gonna become a thing, yeah? Like when death of a spaceman becomes ever more important, at some point you're not gonna want to respawn. You're going to want to have an ambulance pick you up because of the whole clone fragmentation or whatever they're calling it. Like it's gonna be so cool.
Yeah, the whole gene degradation or whatever it is. Yeah, and again, it's just another facet of Star Citizen racing that will start to replicate real life. You have real life racing. You've got ambulances on site to help with people that get in crashes and have injuries, and we'll be dealing with the same thing, I'm sure.
Yeah, dude, that's just so funny. I think we've got all the racers lined up. It looks really good. We've got one, like, who's in second again? That's Shaqnu. Is he going to lunge like that? Because that's going to impact his takeoff. It's either that's strategic because he gets the vert up, but he's going to have to pull up the nose on launch. I don't know if I'd want that. What do you think?
I'm betting it's strategic to take advantage of those verts, but whether or not it'll work out for him, I guess we will see. But yeah, I'm guessing it's a little bit of strategery from Shaqnu there.
Yep, Shaqnu has agreed to that. We're ready to go ahead after you guys do the prizes. Thank you.
Oh.
Race Direction coming in with the rescue for our viewers. That's great. Yeah, we are giving away a vulture. Osashis, you're in charge, aren't you? You're the prize guy.
Yeah, we will do our random draw here, so just bear with us just a second.
This is going to be great, though. Somebody is going to be winning a vulture and quite literally picking up the scraps. You know, you have to pick up the scraps, then you get your prize.
All right, drum roll.
Brrr. Brrr.
And it is Barcelin. I'm sorry if I'm absolutely butchering your Twitch handle. Is the winner.
Barcelin, congratulations. Yes. Osashis is going to DM you, and then you can exchange everything. Congratulations, and thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the show.
Yeah,
Vulture.
Thank you so much for being here. Yep, Vulture with LTI. Congratulations.
Someone's happy. That's great. Dude, Vulture is an awesome ship. I will say it's like the most industrial looking ship. Like even Argo Cargo can't touch it. Like I think the Vulture is like the most like the expansive looking. Oh, dude, I want to truck it. Like, you know?
Yeah, it's so cool, and obviously it reminds a lot of people very
Argo
much
Raft.
of a certain miner in EVE Online, which I played a lot of back in the day. So I have a special place in my heart for a ship that looks like that. Barcelin, quickly, you are set to private, so I can't message you. So if you can please DM Osashis in the Twitch chat, so we can get your information and get you your prize, that would be much appreciated.
Yeah, very important. We got to verify that you're you. Yeah, you got to just like Osashis maybe type in chat so he can click you and then make it easy.
Yep. If you can DM me there, let me message again in chat just so it's easier for you.
I think we've got our race starting in just about a minute now. the third main of the day. And Sashas, because you're amazing at this, you're going to keep everybody up to date about real-time scoring, right? Because you have the brain of a mathematician.
That is the untruest statement I think I have heard in months. But we will try to do a little bit of calculation as we go along and hopefully get a little bit of an idea of what's going on.
We've got Splen support, I see. We've got people rooting for the underdogs. Who's your underdog favorite today?
I think it's still got to be Flip-A-Dip, right? Even though he obviously got his pro license the last series.
Nah, he's no underdog anymore.
I think it's the underdog that can pull it off. The underdog that can do it, especially the situation he's in right now, which is being 6 points down on Boltok in first. Like, there is a slight chance that he could come away with this win. So I'm rooting for Flip-A-Dip to pull it off and maybe for his own good have some bad luck for Boltok and Shaqnu.
I mean, I'm not saying I think he's going to win, but my favorite underdog today is Lagos.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun watching him race at the Pro-Am. Something I just realized right now, I am full retro under boost and I'm not moving backwards. The wind is so strong. This impacts their race start.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
It's crazy.
Like their acceleration off the line will be 1/3 of what it is normally.
Yeah, you even when this happens too, you even kind of get pushed around on the ground a little bit too. Some guys will turn engines off. I don't know what's still working. It kind of varies patch per patch. But yeah, I'm fighting it right now in the air as a cameraman.
We're waiting for the beeps. Cool. We've got a really interesting starting procedure. We get 60 seconds before green flag, and then in that time when the green flag is raised, the racers have to clear comms. Nobody can speak, and it's that moment where everybody is sitting, hands on the sticks, heart is pumping. You're trying to concentrate. You're trying to make sure your legs are still working, but you're remembering to breathe so that you don't get lightheaded. And then when the beeps go, you click on the boost, you get it pre-warmed, and then you take off, you tap the vert up, you get your gear raced as quick as you can. It's really quite interesting, the mental aspect of a race start.
Yeah, folks that'll be new to racing, like when these guys are sitting on the ground for a landed takeoff, they've got a lot of times their stick full deflection forward or whatever their input is, right? So full forward thrust and boost held. It's obviously not activating their boost, because they're not off the ground yet. And then that start consists of just a little bit of vert up, and they go ripping forward as fast as possible. And that's kind of how you'll see some of these guys get off the start really, really quickly.
Here we go. We're full retros, dude. I'm full retros as they're going off. They still manage to go forward, but it does look slower than normal. Boltok, very tight around turn 1. And Shaqnu, super tight on his tail going up to the climb.
Yeah, Shaqnu right there behind Boltok. Boltok keeping that clean through that section. Sader overtaking Splen for third. Boltok and Shaqnu just neck and neck there.
It looks
like
so
we've had a
spectacular,
pretty clean start
dude.
up to this point.
How they're all going through there, it's really cool. We got that angle from iMonster, very cool. Who's that in battling for second place? Let's keep an eye on the second place battle. I think we've got Shaqnu being chased by Sader in this instance. So let's keep an eye on that battle for first place with Boltok in the lead, Shaqnu in second. Oh, let's take a look at again Splen and Sader. You could just see them running the same paces.
In the back.
Oh
so
no!
Flip-A-Dip is out of this early on,
as well.
Unfortunately.
Durk as well.
Oh,
We've lost.
No.
Yeah, they're both out. Both Durk and Flip. Oh, that's painful. We'll have to find out what happened. This is a huge battle for first place, though, with Shaqnu chasing Boltok, Splen chasing Shaqnu, Sader chasing Splen, and Billboy coming in as well, chasing them down.
Yeah, these guys are really, really close. It's no surprise to see Shaqnu and Boltok taking off exactly where they left off in main event 2. Gapping a little bit on Splen, but we'll see if Splen can pick up the pace a little bit now that he's made his way around Sader. See if he can kind of push it a little bit and get closer to the tail of Shaqnu and Boltok here.
Sader chasing, Billboy chasing Sader. That's going to be an interesting one to keep our eye on. We'll have to see how the gaps develop. So far, it's definitely everybody sort of keeping the same gaps. Again, Shaqnu chasing Boltok. It's great to see. It's awesome. Let's see if he can keep it up. I don't know who we're on board with today, actually. Whoever started in second, most likely.
Yeah, it should be Shaqnu there that we're on board with right now for this main event.
Awesome. Marble, can we get on board with Shaqnu just to see? So this is Shaqnu's camera. You can see his mouse on screen. Apologies for that. They're going through this speed trap then across the crossroads. Let's stay on board with Shaqnu for a moment, Marble, and see how this develops. Here they come together across start finish. This reminds me of the Pro-Ams with Bulltalk leading ahead of Billboy, so close together. They're running pretty similar lines. It looks like they're also applying the same boost timing strategies because the gap isn't really dynamically changing. So this is when Shaqnu is going to feel like, I want to kind of adjust my boost strategy to try and crawl closer. But usually that's just going to slow you down because you already have the optimal strategy. So all he can really do is wait for a mistake from Bulltalk.
Yeah, I wanted to mention as well something we talked about yesterday but hadn't yet today. The atmospheric pressure difference on Euterpe it's pretty wild just based on the height limits of the track. I've noticed a couple of sections here, especially like that last drop where Shaqnu's staying a little bit higher than Bulltalk and bringing a little bit more momentum into some of these corners. So you can definitely tell that even outside of boost timings, Shaqnu's trying to take advantage of any and every possible advantage he can to try to close the distance. But Bulltalk holding strong.
Yeah, dude, the gap is just staying the same. Let's get the trackside cameras back, Marble. Here they are then going across the crossroads, coming down through your view and entering mine across the start finish. Here they are. There's just no change to the gap. It's really impressive. Shaqnu is just going to have to wait. He's just not, this proves to me that Bulltalk is getting the very best out of the 350R. And might I add, this is why he won the first Pro-Am heat. It wasn't luck. It was this guy just knows what he's doing.
Yeah, straight up confirmation. And like I mentioned before, Bulltalk is just super consistent. He's a very just naturally talented pilot. A lot of you guys may have seen some of Bulltalk's like hooning footage, for example, and what he does with his ship at any time. It's just smooth and beautiful. It's just a very naturally talented pilot, and we're seeing that on display here.
Mm-hmm. Love this camera angle that Steve is providing us with the Reliant running in vertical mode so that he can pitch down and fly forward. Very, very pretty. Speed trap, very beautiful. This is Kaylee Star with the external camera as the racers are going through the speed trap, giving you the zoomed in view of those beautiful 350R. So kudos to these guys for capturing the action so wonderfully. Here's Bulltalk then dipping down back to the start finish. Shaqnu, still the same distance. There's just no difference. Good job by Bulltalk, really holding his own.
This is a frustrating position for Shaqnu to be in too, because you can tell he's really trying to push it. He's trying to close, and he has at certain points. And you do that as the hunter in this case, trying to force an error from the guy in front of you, especially when it becomes really difficult to pass, which a lot of cases on this track, it is pretty difficult to pass. But Bulltalk is just holding so strong, so it's frustrating to just launch attack after attack and close and just have the guy withstand everything and just keep pulling back out.
As it stands, even I can do the math. Bulltalk is gonna walk away with the win today. Don't know exactly what it means for Shaqnu. I think he might actually crawl into second place.
Yeah, he's currently in second place even after the second main. Okay. So it would basically go the standings right as they run right now, with Bulltalk first, Shaqnu second, and Splen in third if it finished like it did right now.
Interesting. I'm so sad for Flipidip. I'll be interested to learn about his crash in this race as well. But, having such a strong finish in main one, it's definitely unfortunate to see him DNF in both main 2 and 3.
Yeah, it just goes to show how one bad result can kind of chain into another one as well, right? He had that bad result in main event 2, so he had a very far back starting grid position for main event 3, and then obviously was quite a ways back on the pack. We don't know exactly what happened, but I'm sure that didn't help with the situation and probably contributed to the mistake he made or the collision he had with somebody else that caused him to DNF.
Yeah, 100%. What's your favorite ship to watch racing? I honestly think for me it's the 300 series, the 350R. I love it. I love the shape of it. I love how large they are. I love how they can bang a little bit. All of it.
I do really like the 350R watching that racing, but I think probably my favorite, just from an aesthetic perspective and the way that they race, is the Mustangs, which we don't see that often, specifically the Mustang Gamma. It has a very interesting linear flight profile, and you kind of see see that in action as the thing flies. Obviously, it has a pretty goofy wing setup and everything, so I really enjoy watching that ship, of course, in addition to just like I'm enjoying these 350s with as big as they are.
That's a really good point, and something we haven't done enough, right? Like,
Yeah.
we have taken the Mustangs out at some point. I don't remember for what kind of a race that was, but we definitely should again.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to happen sooner than later. So yeah, everybody at some point dust off your Mustang Gammas, because we're probably going to be racing them at some point.
Just want to give another shout out to Diplomat of SCR. Again, welcome him to the XGR family as well, and just point at our overlays. They're looking beautiful today with a white and blue collar, and that's all thanks to him. Really appreciate everything he does to make the overlays work as good as they do, and look as pretty as they do as well. Really appreciate that.
100%. Diplo is a rock star and helps us out so much, the entire racing scene so much, so can't give him enough props.
Yeah, we say this all the time, right? Like XGR, like we made tracks, and CIG liked our tracks. They liked the snake bit, but there's a reason that CIG noticed our racetracks. It's because they were on scr.gg. As Boltok comes across the line, still in first, and Shaqnu still chasing him down. I just, I think it can't be overstated how instrumental SCR has been to highlighting the racing scene to CIG. And sometimes I feel like it goes a little too unnoticed, maybe. But might I just add, he is hosting another championship very soon. I don't know all the details. I'm sure he's going to share that himself very soon. But if you want to race some more racing hosted by him, keep your eyes peeled to scr.gg.
Definitely, and it's always a wonderfully good time. He does a great job, not only with the SCRGG and all the time trials, but any of the events he's hosted have been awesome.
100%. The gap has grown a lot.
Yeah, things staying pretty solid here, just stretching out a little bit. There's a pretty even gap between Boltok and Shaqnu in first and second, and then Shaqnu to Splen is a little bit further. As I say that, Shaqnu makes a big push, closing back in on a Boltok, and this is leading into the finish, if I'm not mistaken. I believe this is the last lap.
That's
Boltok across the finish.
Yeah, that's right.
Shaqnu did not quite make it happen. Congratulations, Boltok.
Shaqnu with a beautiful barrel roll there. Splen across the finish in third. Billboy to finish it up in fourth. We're waiting for, I believe, Speedweed. I think we've got a battle going on between Speedweed and Satyr. Do we have cameras still covering that action? Let's have a look. Satyr then running currently in 5th place ahead of Speedweed. We'll watch them come down through the crossroads.
Pushing hard. Oh, they collide on the corner. Satyr's missing a wing, actually, but he's still in the lead. So that's going to be Satyr across the line with a damaged 350R.
And Speedweed with the red marker. Speedweed doesn't know he's done, dude. He's still racing. He's just going on. He's in the zone. As we've got Lagos then in last place, if we exclude our DNFers. Let's see. Does he finish? Yeah, that's it. That's Lagos done as well. Congratulations to all of our racers. Wow, that was spectacular. We'll wait for the results to be finalized. Look at what that all means, but I'm pretty sure we can confirm already Boltok winning the 2nd Division Series.
Yeah, big congratulations. That's definitely the case, and it looks like we're going to end up with a podium of Boltok, Shaqnu, and Splen.
Marble, let's pull up the race results. I'm pretty sure they're looking good and proper. So Boltok in first place. Shaqnu this time with the fastest lap. If this is correct, it looks like 1 minute and 10. Yeah, it's always a little sketch, the times, but good result by everybody. Shame for Flip, Durnk, and Strazik. Splen, is that 333 for Splen?
That is 533 for Splen.
Right, 533.
Yep.
Wow. We'll wait to get confirmation from Race Direction that the Olympic scoring as well is updated before we put them on as well. And in the meantime, should we talk to Boltok?
Yeah. Let's have a little chat again with our overall winner today.
I guess we'll need Louis in here as well. I'll let you.
I'm here.
Boltok, congratulations. Looks like you took not only those 2 main event wins, but the overall on the day. awesome racing, super solid and consistent. How you feeling?
Allo Boltok, félicitations. Il me semble que tu as gagné le Division Pro pour aujourd'hui. Est-ce que tu peux nous dire comment tu te sens et comment tu as été très consistant?
Je me sens soulagé par rapport au début de la course, parce que c'est enfin fini.
He said that he's satisfied now and it's finally over because he was a bit stressed.
Awesome.
So I just want to say, Boltok, you definitely are the underdog no more. I think you entered the XGR racing scene kind of in stealth. I think you started at our exhibition, excuse me, with the cutters, and you have grown incredibly since and really deserve today's win. You've put in a stellar performance. Congratulations, and on winning the Pisces.
Donc, Maze a dit félicitations encore et tu n'es plus un underdog, tu es quelqu'un de nos pas et aussi un moment. Et aussi, il se souvient quand tu étais venu à nous rencontrer à la première course qui s'est passée à New Babbage. Et aussi, il veut te dire félicitations pour avoir gagné le Pisces.
Merci beaucoup. Et GG à tout le monde. C'était très serré du début à la fin, donc c'était cool. Il n'y a pas eu beaucoup de crash, il y a eu beaucoup de respect entre les participants, donc je pense que ça a fait des belles images pour tout le monde.
He said thank you, and it's great there was no DNF, and everybody was respectful and stuff, so he appreciated it, and thank you.
Awesome. Real quick, Boltok, did you have any close calls that we missed? Because pretty much every time we saw you on track, it was just rock solid. Not really any mistakes that were visible. Did you have any close calls at all, or was it just smooth sailing?
Est-ce que tu pensais que c'était un peu facile parce que dans le stream, on n'avait pas vu que tu étais tout près de personne. Donc, est-ce que tu penses que tu étais tout près de quelqu'un?
Le 350R, il va pas très vite, donc on va tous à la même vitesse au final. Donc la moindre erreur de chacun, on le perd un petit peu, mais c'est pas grand-chose. Je veux dire, avec Jack, on était toujours à 50 mètres. J'ai gagné 50 mètres par 50 mètres, mais c'est pas grand-chose.
He said the 350R is pretty consistent in speed. Everyone's doing the same speed. I think the closest thing was just between Shackness, so it's always 50 meters. But yeah, everyone was pretty close in a way.
Awesome stuff.
All right. Merci.
Yeah, thank you much, Boltok, and congratulations.
Thanks.
All right, it is looking like we've got our overall results in from what I can see.
Let's pull up the Olympic scorings marble and have a look then at the overall results of the day. Shacknew in 7th place, or excuse in 2nd place with 7 points, and Splen in 3rd. I want to hear from Shacknew, and I want to ask Shacknew how he feels about his performance today. Hi, Shacknew. How do you feel about your performance today? How was it chasing Boltok down? How did you experience that battle?
Yeah, it was awesome. Overall, I feel pretty happy with my performance, especially surviving the first turn in the climb, which was my biggest fear on all 3 races. Didn't expect the very insane high pace from Boltok, but I think it's we all know that he's very consistent and very fast. He does a lot of hooning with his crew, so we all know he's very talented. But for him to be pulling low 110s and I think he pulled off several 109s. I mean, that was incredible.
Maybe, yeah.
But yeah, it was really fun to chase behind him. Beautiful performance by the both of us, I would say, and Splen, who's been behind us the whole time too.
How do you feel about keeping Splen behind you? It must feel pretty good.
I'm just happy I didn't crash into him in the Pro-Am. We tend to gravitate towards each other. We just like each other that much, so it was cool to have some spacing between us on the first main event.
Were you getting frustrated at all, or were you keeping it cool? Both main event 2 and 3, you closed on Boltok many times, right? But every single time he seemed to fend off your attacks. what was your head doing at those points?
Yeah, I definitely wasn't frustrated. I tend to fly worse when I'm frustrated, so I just try to keep it level head as possible. I'm a big believer that cooler heads always prevail, so that's what I strive to be, especially when racing. I did notice that our boost timings were different, so there was a little back and forth on every lap, and I actually got a little scared towards the very end of the last main event. I think after that straight and we made that left turn, maybe he wanted to save a little more boost, but I think I almost like rear-ended him, and that freaked me out a little bit. But yeah, notably he did have, I think he had more boost than me, and he ended up pulling ahead. But yeah, it was really cool to see the different boost timings that we had, and for us to kind of ebb and flow, or I guess kind of like an accordion. We were really close at times and farther away at times, between like, I don't know, 200 meters to 1,000 meters. So it was kind of cool to see that all kind of play out throughout the main races.
Right on, man. Right on. Well, if you didn't win, you at least got the next best result, coming in with a solid second. So yeah, great job.
Yeah, second place 2 times in a row. I can't complain with that. So
Good effort, Shaq. Wow.
Get everyone lined up at the podium.
Podium. Do you have? Is that the circles?
Yep.
All right, we'll come in for a sneak peek, and while we do that, I just want to give a quick shout out to NeoJet and all the Spanish followers as well. NeoJet approached and offered his support for. I'm being distracted. That's totally Marble's fault. That's great. No, that's great. Here, we'll zoom in on the action. Oh, I'm not even seeing it on my end. I wanted to say hello and thank you for watching to the Spanish crowd today as well. Thank you, NeoJet, for covering the action and covering it in Spanish. Really appreciate you. Also, NeoJet and Speedweed for doing all the socials for XGR. Really appreciate that. So again, just want to thank Osashas, yourself, Luigi, Marble Maze, Mad Cat, iMonster, Kaylee Star, Steve CC, Turkin, all for helping, and say good effort to all our racers.
Yeah. I'll parrot that 100%. It takes a massive effort from a lot of people to pull this off, including the racers themselves. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone who participated in any way, and thanks so much to everybody viewing the stream as well and giving us your support that way.
I think with that said, it is time to end the stream. Before we do, I'll just say, stay tuned for our upcoming races. Go to racexgr.com and keep an eye on our schedule. Join our Discord, discord.gg/XGR. We're on YouTube. You can find us everywhere. Just type in XGR in your Google browser, and you'll find us. Thank you so much for watching today, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Yep. See you guys soon. 07.